I'm Darren Dance here by Zoom with Peter Morganti, who's also on the other end of this Zoom, I hope. Are you there, Pete? Over?
Yeah, back in lockdown, Darren. Thank Christ we are.
Back in lockdown. It's more like in lockout because there's just not enough hours in the day today, Pete, for you and I to cross paths in the daylight. So we've had to resort to Zoom.
Yep.
As we attempt to talk about last week's runners. And we've held this over till tonight because of the Warrnambool Carnival. And we now know who our runners should be and where they've drawn and who's on them. We did send out a little message to say it wouldn't be after today, but might have eclipsed a few because if I didn't have 25 questions on where I was, I'll give up. But that's okay. They're all interested and they're all waiting.
We'll have it out for their cups of coffee in the morning, Darren. It might even be out later tonight, but they'll definitely have it for breakfast in the morning while they study the form guides.
First race at 11:20 tomorrow. They'll have to be sharp. But let's go back through the last, probably 9 days and just look through our runners, the whole 8 of them, and go through them, Pete, one by one.
Go back to, it was Saturday week, which was Bovis Gold Day, but we'll flip out to Kyneton first. We had Sea Princess have her first run for Maddie Williams, and she charged home. It was a really promising effort. It was the run of a coming winner. Finished second, beaten 3 quarters.
Right. Yeah, you're right there. Smashing run. I know it was a 58 on a Saturday in the bush, but it was the way she did it. And she was a filly that started off a career in the Freeman Yard. And funny thing, Pete, when the tracks got wet, she went bad, and we all assumed that she didn't handle the wet. So we sent her over to Adelaide and in search of some nice tracks. And she performed pretty badly even on top of the ground there in one start. And her trials were pretty ordinary as well. So we brought her home scratching our head. And we took her up to the Ballarat Vet Clinic, and Dr. Andrew Cust, he's pretty good. He figured out what the problem was, and I suppose it's akin to being an asthmatic. She needed to go on the nebulizer a couple of days a week, and obviously when the weather changes, it starts to affect her lungs. So, yeah, we've had her on that treatment. Matthew Williams done a great job in working on that, and first up for him, she was a slashing run, and turns out she can handle the wet. She just needs a little bit of health treatment, and she looked magnificent on course, and looking forward to seeing what she can do next time.
Nothing like a good vet. Pick those problems, because an asthmatic in a horse, like, yeah, good on him, because she turned in a bottler, and she'll be hard to beat next start. Wasn't so much luck at Caulfield, Darren. We'll kick off with 2 Bay Shore. I think this horse was akin to being in a boxing match, not a horse race. I think he got at least 3 checks after being a little bit slow away. To the horse's credit, he kept hitting the line. I think he was beaten just under 4 lengths, but you wouldn't have been too hard on him if he finished back in the last 2 or 3. But yeah, look, it was one of those races. It was just a sad, hard watch. Well,
we got 3 checks, but not the check we wanted. We ended up with 10,000 for running 6, but no, it was an awful watch. Can happen, I suppose, in racing. You sort of ride them into the nice spot and you're travelling beautiful, and then it only takes one horse or one rider to do the wrong thing and a bit of interference. And then I think they'd actually set our horse off then to start over racing and resenting the contact. And then he probably caused a couple of the others himself. But to his credit, he picked up and hit the line. He featured heavily in the steward's report. Certainly discussed by some of the professionals and saying that, he won't lose any admirers with that run, and was extremely unlucky. So he's come home to the paddock now. He was always coming home to the paddock after that race. He'll have his 4 weeks off and he'll resume for the spring, and I really do believe there's a good race in him in the spring.
Yeah, no, I agree. a little bit later on, we had Serious Suspect. He had a few things against him, especially weight, but I think he ran as well as he could. A little bit of pressure from horse outside him, but looked at first three across the line, got away from him. But look, he was as brave. He ran as well as he could, and he was brave. He finished fourth, picked up a nice check. I don't know what he's picked up for his last two runs without winning. Ran third and fourth. He's probably picked up, I don't know, 40 or 50,000, has he? Probably more.
63 and a half, if you want to know.
As good as a Sandy win. So.
Yeah. Look, that race was weird as well. I mean, the horse outside was going to lead at all costs. And, yeah, we ended up probably on not the best going on the day, but the first three cleared out and won by over 4 lengths in a pack. And there was a gap to us and then a gap to the rest. So we've never beaten the Astrologist and probably we never will. That horse is heading off to the Goodwood as some of those, I think all first three horses are going to Adelaide.
Well, the winner won again last Saturday too.
The winner, yeah. Regards Marie won again Saturday to frank that form. We were badly weighted, and I had a few people query that, and I looked into it. And for that race, the rating and the weight was based on what the horse had done since the 1st of January 2021. So we won a Group 3 on that first day of that calendar window. So that gave us the extra 2 kilos to take us up to that weight. Had it have been from the 2nd of January, we would have been 2 kilos lighter. So we were disadvantaged at the weights, but the horse was brave. He never shirked the issue. I thought Craig rode him pretty well on the day, and those horses were better. So he will now, whilst they all sneak over to Adelaide chasing the Goodwood, etc., we will sneak over to Flemington on May 21 and tackle a 1,200 metre listed race, hopefully without 4 or 5 of those horses going around.
Yeah. And
we might get a chance to get back in the winning circle.
Straight 6, back to the straight 6. Following day, Miss 10,000 kicked off her campaign with Matthew, and it was she was wide the trip. She was probably playing, but can happen. I think off a freshen, like she'd had really good form over 2,000. I can't remember what her last run was. About 6th in town, following 2 wins. Little freshens, they either work or they sort of can be playing. She was playing, but look, hard to get a gauge where she is, but we'll see her run at Warrnambool during the week, so hopefully an improved performance.
Yeah, she was ordinary. She was definitely ordinary. So, scratch head time. We don't believe she handles the wet, and I think there's a lot of rain forecast at Warrnambool Wednesday night. So she may or may not take a part there on Thursday. And she may be just in a situation now where her rating exceeds her ability, but we're not going to give up. We'll give her a couple of runs. There's not that long to go on the lease with her. So I think we'll know after the next 2 starts where we're placed, and then we'll have to deal with that accordingly. But yeah, wherever she goes next time, she will need to show a lot more than what she did the other day.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what happened. You win 2 races in a row, you all of a sudden climb 4 or 5 kilos in the weights. You take the wins, you bank the wins, but it certainly makes it hard going forward. Capriccio is a filly that generally races well. It was probably her worst run of her career on Anzac Day. She'd gone into the race with good form. I think Daniel had the tongue tie on. She trialled super with it. I think she went a time similar to Lindsay Smith's good horse that won on the sale quality. Like they ran equivalent times. I know trials aren't always the best guy, but she did that easy. But she just went 10 or 12 lengths below her best, I reckon, on Anzac Day.
Yeah, no, it was a disappointing run at Flemington. Back in grade down to 78. I felt myself that, yeah, she raced well below her best. That's clear for everyone to see. I think her next run will tell us where we're at, because it can only be one of 3 things, and that is she needs it wet, proper wet. Secondly, I don't believe she's a mare that takes gaps, small gaps in fields. I can remember a couple of times when she'd been asked to go for gaps before, she'd sort of half got back and got her head up, like saying, really, do I have to go through there? And the best runs where she's sort of smashed them down the outside. So if she goes to the next start and gets a wet track and peels out and can't finish off outside, then, you know, she may not be where she once was. So I think the next run will tell us a lot. I'm prepared to sit on the fence just for now, because that gap presented. Now, did she not go through it because it was firm? Did she not go through it because the gap wasn't big enough for her? Or is she just not going that well off the freshen? So has the summer racing taken its toll on her? So I don't know the answer, but I figure we'll find out very shortly.
Yeah, and that could be Thursday at the Bool. Well, she's accepted to run there. I reckon she ran third in a similar race last year at Warrnambool. I just can't remember.
100% right, and I think, yeah, she did, and that day it was leader by, so
that's
hopefully
right. Yeah.
it's not leader by system.
Anyway, fingers crossed there. We didn't have many runners during the week, but we got to Friday, and unfortunately, frankly, Rosie, you know a little bit more than me about this, but she pulled up distressed. It was an ordinary night there weather-wise. I think eventually the meeting was called off halfway through, but have you heard any more about how she's pulled up since that run?
Look, going into that race, they were reasonably confident that she was running particularly well and working well. And for the first half of the race, she was up outside the leader, travelling beautifully. And then within one stride, he said she put in a short stride and then just found nothing. And he thought she'd gone amiss and eased her out of the race. And we didn't even see her cross the line. So watching it from afar, you're always really concerned as to what's happened. You fear the worst. But I got on the phone to Liam Howley, and yeah, the bottom line was that she pulled up distressed, and she'll still distressed some 1 hour and a half later after the race. And in fact, when they cleared to leave the track, when she got back to the stable at Kyneton, she was still distressed, and she never ate or drank overnight. So they've been taking some bloods on her, but they suspect she might have just had the thumps, which can happen first up, particularly in mares. We've had a few over the years where their heart gets out of rhythm and they just don't get the oxygen they need, and they pull up all distressed, and, you know, you've got to change their diet and get rid of that acid out of their blood. So that's what we think happened. But her work up until that had been fantastic. It was a winning gallop on Tuesday. And in the first half of the race, I thought, wow, she's going to do that on this night. But yeah, he just said she put in that one short stride and then got unbalanced and was gone. So yeah, it was very hard to watch, and it was very concerning for the next couple of hours. But she seems to have recovered now, and yeah, we're just waiting on some analysis of all the blood work and to work out how we're going to get it back on track.
That night, while you were watching that, you were watching from Queensland on the Sunshine Coast, where we had a farewell run. The old warrior, Mr. Moneybags, and he nearly pulled off the fairy tale. I didn't know halfway through the race he was struggling to keep in touch, but Benny Thompson never gave up on him, got him out into clear air, which we've been wishing would happen a bit with this horse over the journey. Anyway, he knuckled down, and I don't know what the margin was. It wasn't much, a neck in the end. And you, along with a group of at least half a dozen owners, I reckon I've seen in various photos, seen the old fella off nearly in grand style.
It was a little bit of a plan. This horse has been up there this year, and he's been stuck on wet tracks all the way through, and there hasn't been a lot of racing for his class. So once we found this race Friday night, we invited all the owners to come up and be there for his farewell start for ATB, and it was great to see him there. It was Dan flew in from South Australia, Simon and David flew up from Victoria, and you know, the 3 or 4 Queensland people there. So we were all there. We ended up on a heavy 9. So Ben Thompson was probably clearly the best rider in the race, and he had a plan to just come down that one lane on the crown of the track. And even though the horse doesn't or hasn't handled heavy 9, he certainly attacked the line. And I think we made more noise in that race over the last 200 than they'd heard on the whole track for the night, screaming for him, just the fairy tale. But unfortunately, Peter, the horse that was in behind the leader on the fence got let out, which should never have been let out, and it beat us. And unfortunately, one of our old drinking buddies over at the Meredith Hotel turns out to be a part owner in that horse. So, yes, he was on the phone to let us know he'd won, and he also apologised for spoiling our party. But we had a great night. So he certainly gave us a lot to cheer about. Damien Batters had the horse looking spectacular. He said to me after the run, he said, so why have we been scratching these horses off heavy tracks all year? Why? And then, once the races were over, we all walked over the road to the stables where he was, and all owners were there, got their photos taken with the horse, and I think you've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, some good ones.
And then some of them got in the car with one Alan Brown and went back to Brisbane. And some reports were that they got back to bed about 3 a.m, Pete, and might have been struggling big time on Saturday. So they tied one on down in Brisbane, whilst the rest of us went back to the Sunshine Coast bar. And I think by 10:30, 11 o'clock, we'd more than truly all had enough. And we tied early. And then most of us met up again on the Saturday at King's Tavern near King's Beach there, and sat down for the afternoon and had a counter lunch and watched the races and looked over the magnificent ocean of the Sunshine Coast. So it was a really good weekend, and it was really, we had to come home Sunday to get ready for Warrnambool. So, that horse, he's raced for 6 years, and he's won 645,000. He's won 7 races. He ran in the All-Star Mile. He's just been a great horse for everyone, and we had a lot of fun, and he deserved a really good send-off from us. So I think we gave him that on the weekend.
No, absolutely. Been a flag bearer for, like you said, 6 seasons. Not a lot of horses run shape up as, a 3-year-old right through to 8-year-old days. So well done to the money bags, and I'll put a little skit together at some stage over the next week or two, highlighting his wins and some of the better times, and we'll flick that out to all the supporters, all the owners. Sandown, we had the next day, we had Literary Magnet kick off. Now, she's come back. Did you have knee chips or something removed? Can't remember. She had a
yeah, she did have, she had a small chip removed. She was never to blame on it. It was just a minor thing that it set her back, and we had to give her the time. But yeah, she resumed at Sandown, and wow, what a run! I think in the tavern at King's Head, everyone in the King's Head Tavern knew we were there. Once again, we were screaming. But yeah, she ran super. I think it was only the weight that beat her. She carried 61 kilos, first up for I don't know how long, probably 9 months, and the winner had 54, and I think that was the only thing that beat her. And she looks like she's in for a really good prep, and just her demeanour and her attitude. She was always a bit fractious last time in, and this time she was perfect. She just travelled beautifully and let down lovely, and I think it was only the weight that got her in the end.
I think too, we gave the winner a card in. Like Matty said, she was still strong through the line, but the winner had a little bit less weight and had a slipstream in off her back and just pulled out late and just got over the top of us. But yeah, look, she's in for a good prep. She ran 4th in the Group 1,000 guineas, I think it was, at Caulfield. So you line that form up. If she gets anywhere back near that form, she's going to be winning a nice race along the way somewhere. So they were our runners, Darren.
I'll tell you the other thing.
Yep.
The other thing I want to mention is one of our clients, well, I suppose I could call her a past client. I don't think she's in a horse at the minute, Peggy Roberts, who lives up there. She came along for the night, and she's been battling serious health issues over the last 9 months and spent about 4 months in hospital. So she turned up, and it was good to spend a few hours with her on Friday night, and hopefully we can get her back into a horse shortly.
She would have loved seeing a few familiar faces, no doubt. So we had 3 seconds amongst that lot, and yeah, couldn't quite crack a win, but it's about 28 seconds for the season now to go with our 23 winners. Righto, the Carnival, Darren. No runners today.
Who's run second more this year?
Hey? What horse?
Who's run second more this year, ATB or Carlton?
Ha. We've got a couple of wins beside our names this year. Now, we won't go too early. Lid's well and truly on. Not off. Carnival. Not very often we kick off the first day at the Carnival. We've had runners across the Carnival for years. I wouldn't have thought we've kicked off day one of the Carnival with 2 jumpers. I'm pretty sure we haven't. We got the little champ Periscope trying to break his maiden. And obviously we're involved in Magnanimous Man, who's in the Briley Steeplechase, which is the first feature jumps race of the Carnival. So Periscope, based on his only run over the jumps, which was Grand National Day at Ballarat last year, the last jumping day of the season, was really good when he ran second. Seems to have, flat runs have been okay. His hurdle trials have been good. It's been a name for about 6 months, so hopefully Pat can get it right. We'll blame Pat. We've got Vo Rogues. We've got a bit of Vo Rogue tied up in this race, Darren. We've got Cyril Small's son, Daniel Small, riding. Got Cyril.
He's what, $17 in 8s or 9s or something?
Yeah, he's been backed.
But don't ask me what's going to happen. I've got no idea. Well, I don't know if I haven't had jumpers like this ever. So we've let Pat Ryan talk us into doing this, I suppose. So it's a bit of a new experience for us. I had John Clements on the phone earlier asking me, complaining that we're in race 1 at 11:20. Why would that be? And my response was, well, Pat Ryan wanted to run the race while John, you're still sober. So we need to run in race 1 at 11:20.
He might be drunk by midday if it wins.
Well, if he wins, he'll be a cat on a hot tin roof anyway. But anyway, look, I don't know. He's $8. I don't know much about any of these horses, and I don't really understand the form.
Paddy Payne's got the favourite. Sorry.
They seem to run around on the flat and get well beaten, and then they go to one of these trial hurdle things. What do they call them? It's trials.
Yeah.
And they seem to run like superstars. So, you've probably seen more jumps than I've seen at the trials. But anyway, he reckons he's got him pretty as good as he can get without having a hurdle start. So he goes there, some each way sort of hope, do you think?
Oh, I think so. Paddy Payne's got the odds-on favourite, Portland Jimmy. Now, this is where it's hard to line up. It's won 7 races. I think we've won, 1, 2? And you would think, and it's won country cups. You think, well, how the hell do we beat that? But a good jumper can soon eradicate, the horses have got superior flat ability. Jimmy did win a trial the other day when we ran second. So Paddy Payne has always had a good jumper. But, look, maybe the Quinella, Darren, each way, and the Quinella, us into the favourite. I know.
Betting on the hurdle.
should be 5-1 just to get around, let alone being odds on. Anyway, he's there, and
I'll be watching it like this, Pete.
Yeah, don't watch the last 2. Yeah,
he's a good jumper though, and he's safe.
Yeah, he's a clever jumper. The boys that ride him say he probably not the cleanest jumper, but he certainly knows the jumps are there and gets over them. That's half the battle. Magnanimous Man goes around in the iconic Briley Steeplechase, and I think he's outsider of the field, but he's not as if he's a 50-1 chance. He's about $12 or $14. Field of 7 or 8. I think Simon Wild's got a handle on the race with. I think he has. Now I'm saying that, I don't know. But he's won a hurdle. Britannicus and that, is it? Ballack? Vanguard? Yeah. So Hayes has got Ballack. Yeah.
Mar's got a bit of a lad.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're not the outsider. We're the I don't know, there's two outside of us. So there's only 7 starters. You know?
Yeah, it makes it hard.
According to betting, we're going to run 5th.
Yeah, it's hard to back them each way when there's 7. But look, I reckon he's half a run short. And Pat's always said that he's just not. He was going to run in the easiest steeplechase on the Wednesday, but when this field come up short, there was a couple of horses went amiss at the trials. Go Waterhouse's good thing, social element, and something else, and then there was gold medals and ZM. All those fell by the wayside, and Pat sort of thought, well, we might as well have a throw at the stumps, I think were his words. So where that means he finishes, he's got the best hoop in New Zealand on him, Aaron Kuru.
Well, he's won on him.
Yep, won a hurdle race in New Zealand on him. So is it meant to rain Wednesday? Hold on, we're talking tomorrow, Tuesday. Is it meant to rain tomorrow? No?
No.
No. Rain would help him. But they prepare those tracks as 5s and 6s, so there'll be plenty of give in the track, in the steeple, on the steeple track. The only time they touch the main course is in the home straight, the last 400 metres. So generally the steeple tracks, well and truly watered for the occasion. So hopefully that helps him.
He's running in the colours of the legendary Sandy McGregor.
Yes. Sandy, the major shareholder, and few ATB clients in amongst it. Any of them going tomorrow?
They'll be there.
They'll be there.
Yeah, there'll be no one at the Meredith pub. They're all in this horse. So
right. What time's the race?
Half from Clare.
Yeah,
2:20.
2:20. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. That's Tuesday for us. Wednesday.
Okay.
There's a couple of mean girls in this horse. Mean girls.
Is it a stable name, Penny?
Is it? First starter, Alana Kelly rides. Matty Williams made a comment that he's never had a 2-year-old this forward ever in his memory. Now, what that means, she must be fit. I think she had 3 or 4 trials.
Yeah, there's only 8 runners.
She's 23 bucks.
Yeah, her and Bobbin's horse are both 23-1. Well, it's going to be really interesting, isn't it? I don't know. What do you think?
She's a half to an Oaks winner. Does that help over 1,200?
Probably not. But look, he thinks if it all goes well and from gate 6, if she can open into it on the corner, she'll be strong late, and she's a sneaky each way chance.
Yeah.
At $23. I don't think she'll start $23. I think she'll come in, but
yeah.
Beatrice has got a few big punters hanging off his tails down there at Warrnambool. He's got his little marquee there for all his owners, so he'll be tipping it to everyone that wants to listen. So
yeah, so if you get
she'll shorten up.
Back it now, not tomorrow or Wednesday. Not now.
Yeah, so that's a debut run.
Yeah. So always showing a bit of promise.
Did we win this race?
Yeah.
Did we win this race with
Ticket to Toorak
or someone years ago?
Yeah, I reckon we may have. Yep. Certainly wasn't the famous Strike race. I reckon it was this 2-year-old race. So let's go back 10 years.
So that's race 1:11. That's race 1:11:20 again.
Another early start.
Should be a quiet night Tuesday night in the Bool.
So we'll move on to Thursday, where we've mentioned these 2 horses in our results. It's Capriccio and Miss 10,000. Now, as you said, depending on the weather, she may not run, but if the weather does come, it'll hopefully help Capriccio, who is about an $8, $9 chance in a class that's well below the standard of races she competed in over the summer. The likes of the Standish and those are listed at Group 3 level. Her best form on a rain-affected track from Gate 4, Daniel Moore, the former local boy on. Just hard to eradicate that last run from your memory, though, isn't it?
Well, like I said earlier, if you're a believer that she needs to wet and you're a believer that she needs to get to the outside, then you might be able to put a line through that last run and take her on trust and eat the $8. You might even get $10.
Yeah.
And you might have a nice collect if she launches late. So I haven't given up on it. The work's been good. That trial that you talked about where she ran the fast time, I think that was in slow ground.
Yeah, was slow 5 or 6.
Yeah,
and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna back that. I'm gonna back that she needs room and she needs a wet track and she regains her form here at Warrnambool.
Well, if you think she can run top 3, you're probably going to get around $3 a place. So maybe that's a way to go as well. So that's it. That's our Carnival runners. Now, forecasting forward to next Friday, Navy Girl and a Dandy Man are both nominated for Cranbourne. Now, if we do get the weather, you probably won't see a Dandy Man, the wet weather. Navy Girl, she more than likely to run, but she's also nominated 2 or 3 other venues. But she's a smart little filly from what we're hearing. And they got a first starter home again today. They got a first starter home there the other day. They don't miss very often when they send a horse to the races with any sort of ability first up. They place them all perfectly. The mark.
Yeah, I think that's what
yeah.
They just got it on everywhere and they'll just pick the right place for her and try and make it a good thing and get off a good start. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on her where she goes. And as you say, Danny, man, where he won't run, he'll either turn him out or he'll find another race for him. But he's not a wet tracker at all. So we found that out the hard way. So they were our runners, Pete. I might just mention, I've had a few owners asking me where's Steinem going. She is down to run Saturday week. Most likely is at Gosford.
Yep.
Saturday week, is that where it is? Gosford, there's a big race out there.
Saturday,
is that right?
Saturday or Saturday week?
Saturday week.
Right.
I might be this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Sorry, this Saturday.
Yeah, and she was also nominated for a race at the Gold Coast, but you're thinking more than likely Gosford. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's down to run next Saturday.
$500,000
I think she'll
race.
go where it's not. Where the tracks are still a heavy tension, probably won't run. I think that's where they're looking at.
Well,
so what's our betting strategy, Pete, for Warrnambool?
Well, we had a chat off air, broadcast. I reckon there's 2 there that they're short, but you can get about $4 multied. And if you want to play them into any of ours that we've talked, it's up to you. But I think Daniel Bowman's horse tomorrow in the 5th race called Bubble Palace, around $2.20, probably just jumps and leads all the way. I'm just looking for it's race 5, horse 4. It's 1:45 tomorrow. And I reckon Grand Slam just wins the Warrnambool Cup. About $1.80 chance. $2.20 into $1.80.
If I took Periscope to place $2.30.
Yep.
Into Mean Girls, the place it at $4.
Yep.
With Bowman's horse tomorrow to win at $2.
Yep. Into Grand Slam.
Grand Slam to win the Warrnambool Cup at $1.80. And then go crazy and take Capriccio each way in her race. We're looking at there $4.60, $18, $19, 30 to 1 into Capriccio at each way. So even at the place, we're looking at about 40 to 1 the place.
Sounds all right.
And you know what? That could happen.
Yeah. Yep. I do like those two shorties, so you can.
Yeah, I think they both win.
You can just flick them around with those. Like I think Magnanimous, man, because you got to run 1-2. That's hard. Like you got to run top
It's
two.
not a betting proposition.
No, and he's probably one short. But and forget about Miss 10,000. I mean, I just think you're right. Periscope, Mean Girls, Capriccio, they're our three. Can certainly fill a hole and get us a dividend.
Take those other two shorties and see if you can get yourself 70 or 80 to 1.
Yep.
Have 100 on a plate and happy days.
Yeah, and I've been doing a bit of work for Amy McDonald, and she's got Master Poet in the Grand Annual. It's $14. And the Kiwi rider had a choice of a couple of rides, and after the last run where he got beaten the nose, I think at Pakenham, and then he rode it in the trial, he was pretty keen to stay on. Aaron Kuru on it, so. You want 14 to 1 at least to get around 33 jumps. So, Master Poet, maybe.
Maybe we just have 10 each way on that.
Yep. Anyway, 5,500 metres. I wonder who'll get more tired, that horse or Rick?
Well, we'll be on the hill watching it, Pete.
Yep. So that's it. So we'll there's a couple others later on in the week too, unassailable and Arizona Dreamer, but we might talk about them next Friday when we get back together for ATB TV.
We'll be on Zoom again, I think. So
because unassailable was meant to run last week, and obviously, but the wet track beat her. And Arizona Dreaming is first starter potentially.
All right, so we've got a couple there to look out for. We'll know more obviously by next Friday. So.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the Bool for the week. So good luck to everyone. Enjoy the carnival if you're going. If you're not, well, sit home and watch it on racing.com or on your phone while you're supposed to be working. And we'll do our best to stay tidy for the week and survive the week, because as you get older, Pete, it does get harder.
Yes. I think I'll be watching from the studio of Morganti residence.
You're not going to venture down at all? You'll be down Thursday for the Grand Annual, wouldn't you?
Maybe. I got bloody Ballarat Dogs Thursday night. So we'll see.
Very rude of them. Very rude of them.
Yeah, it is.
It's
usually Wednesday. But anyway, they've got a big dog carnival down there as well. So they've taken over all the spots this week. What will have?
Okay. All right, well, let's leave it there.
Yep.
So good luck at the Bool, and have a great week. Don't drink too much, don't eat too much, but you will. Enjoy. Till next week, Darren Dance with Peter Morgan.